Hello, ladies and gents. Um, Today, mm, I am off. I was off yesterday, I'm off today, and I'm off tomorrow. Um, yeah, I decided to take a couple of days because um, I'm tired. My brain is tired. I need a rest. I want to rest. You know, um, I'm just tired. That's all. Um, we are still working on getting our banking done. God, there's a lot of gray. Um, we have a Zoom meeting on Monday. I thought it was, yeah, no, Monday on the 27th. Um, Getting those documents printed off. Oh my God. Okay, so I have a printer here, and it acts really weird. Like I I can't really print anything from my phone like consecutive because I don't know, it just doesn't want to work. Anyway, and I have to use my laptop. Though when I tried to use my laptop before to print stuff like taxes, it didn't want to work. So it's just, I don't know. It's HP. Um, and I love their products, but you know, some of the printers yeek. Um, and so I I believe I was telling you the last time that Amazon screwed me on getting the paper, so I had to then cancel, get a refund, then reorder so I could get it in time. But it turned out to be like the same time, which is okay. And I was off. You know what I mean? I got it. I ordered Wednesday, got it Thursday. Yeah, I ordered Wednesday, got it Thursday, and I worked from home on Friday, or was I off Friday? I can't remember. But anyway, either way, I was home Friday. So, no, I worked Friday. I did work Friday, but I worked from home on Friday. So then, the it was it's moot, right? I wanted to get the paper, take it to work, print it off on the big printer, and like be, just print, whatever, print like 2, 3 copies. But as it stands, I couldn't do that. So on Saturday or Sunday, I kept monkeying around trying to figure out how to do it. But let me back up a little bit because I'm getting ahead of myself. So I had forwarded the message I received to my work email. Then I opened it up and I printed it off on the wrong size paper. I did that on purpose so that when I got the regular, the paper they accept, um, I could then compare. You know what I mean? I can make sure that I printed it all off. Anyway, but then turns out that okay, I'm gonna have to print it from here, from home. So I printed off the first, I don't know, 6, 7 sheets. Fine. Well, then the printer just didn't. It refused to acknowledge. It just kept giving me a printer error, and I'm like, oh my God. Well, I have a printer that's also a scanner and a copier. So if I had, I mean, and I was jacking with this thing for at least, it was over an hour trying to get it to print. I mean, it was just like, oh my freaking God, are you kidding me? And I'm like, am I going to have to go in on Monday? Yuck. Because I work from home Fridays and Mondays. Well, every other Friday and every Monday. So I'm like, oh God, I'm going to have to freaking go in. Jeez. But that would pose another issue because my husband works, we only have one vehicle, because we're getting ready to go, so one. And he works late on Mondays. So, my schedule, I work till 5, and he's like 5:30 or whatever, or 6 on Mondays. So it's like, if I go in, that means I'm going to be stuck. No, I don't want to be stuck there. So I was like, let me just figure this out. So I'm working on it and working on it. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? I mean, I was like, am I going to have to uninstall and reinstall? Because that right there was a pain in the behind. Because I've done that before. So I'm like, okay. And I'm like, wait a second. I have a full copy of what I need, albeit on the wrong size paper. So I already had the A4 paper loaded in my printer. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can't scan all these and, just copy, you know what I mean? Feed it through the scanner and have a copy on the correct size paper. So that's what I wound up doing. I got a copy, my full set, and I, just fed it through, and I had to break it in half because it was thick. So I had to break it in half and just fed the printer, and so then I know a full copy on the correct size paper. And then I emailed them back and I was like, okay, and I explained what I did. During the call, I'm going to be filling out the incorrect size because I won't have to do that again. So I'm going to be filling out the incorrect size, you know what I mean? And then I can then fill out the correct size. I don't know if I'm going to need 2 copies, so whatever it is, I'll be set. Long story short, I know that was like a weird way of going all the way around it. Anyway, and so yeah, so I didn't really want to go in, like I said, on Monday because our schedules didn't match up, and then I was like, well, I'm off the rest of the week, and so yesterday I should have filmed, but I didn't. I was just tired. I was exhausted. There's so much mental things going on in my head. Like, okay, it's getting to be time. When do I start doing the FBI background check? And how long is that going to take? And the apostille, and I'm just I'm trying to wrap my head around, the execution. The execution right now is, I think, the most stressful. I, trying to get him to list stuff so we can be selling, but, he comes home and he just wants to sit. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, if you don't want to do anything, I could do bad by myself. You know what I mean? I can't do everything. So if I'm going to have to do everything, well, I shouldn't have to do everything. And if I'm going to do everything, then I might as well be by myself. I mean, I need assistance in doing stuff, especially for 2 people. I can handle like the legal the legal part and the paperwork part, and all that other kind of stuff. But when it comes to like things like that, like, okay, I have a sauna that I used, I don't know, 5, 6 times. I mean, I love it, but that's not going over there because the wattage is different. You know what I mean? Um, I've got bags, purses. Um, Actually, purses I could sell at the next garage sale. But I mean, there's other things. There's 2 totes sitting out back that he was supposed to have gone through 2 years ago. Still not. It's like camping gear and stuff. Dude, why wasn't that out there? I've got light fixtures that I will not be. I love them too. They are so pretty. That I will not be able to take because the wattage is different. Okay. Well, you know, the, we have to. We got to be able to share the load. And if I'm going to do the load by myself, I might as well be by myself. That's the way I feel. I'm like, man, listen, you know. And then I heard from my daughter, and, I got to be watching my monies now. And she wants me to come up and watch her pets while she goes off somewhere June 6th through the 8th. I'm like, I don't know what to tell her. Because I will not be, I won't have, it's a money thing. And I'm not even going to lie. I mean, I do want to see her, you know what I mean? And stuff. But, the execution of all of this is just nuts, So, I'll look into it. But, frankly, I do not want to fly in the United States of America because they have freaking the real world dude as the transportation secretary. Seriously? This is MTV, the real world. I'm like, Jesus freaking Christ, are you kidding me? So, no, I think he's an idiot, and I don't want to fall out of the sky. I don't want to have a near miss. I just do not want to fly out of here because it's not going to end well. So, that's the way I feel. I feel it's just too dangerous to fly out of the United States. That's my feeling. I mean, you guys can feel differently. Feel free to comment, to each his own. I'm just not going to do that. So, and it's going to be right after I have to make sure that I have enough money to pay storage in New York, which is, it started off at $50. Now it's like $190. Talk about a markup. So I'm like, it's a lot of stuff. And it's not that I don't want to see my daughter. I do. I miss her dearly. But, it's the means. You know what I mean? It really is. It's the means. So, we'll see. We will see. I'm just, I don't know. I'm at a loss, sometimes. I do feel overwhelmed a lot. And, I didn't mean for this to be a rant, but it felt good to just let it out. And so this week, like I said, I'm going to concentrate on doing the banking stuff. And then I'm still debating about the second passport. Has anybody got a second emergency passport because they're doing what I'm doing? You know what I mean? And how did that work? And what forms do you fill out? Is it the regular form that you fill out? I know I have to have a statement. I have my statement all prepared, saved on my laptop. Um, I just don't want them, dealing with people regarding important documents. Okay. I know that they do not always, they just don't read the stuff correctly. I I deal with that a lot. And so my thing is to I don't want them to cancel my passport and issue a new one. I just need you to issue an emergency one because we have to leave our passports. Um, I don't know. I'm all over the place, people. I don't know. I mean, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Somebody give me some, what you would do and how you would go about it. Because at this point, I'm like, just like mentally like, bleh. Um, I also have to start getting the dogs together. I started changing their food to food that is available over there in Portugal. So, their little belt, I mean, they're already going to be stressed out. So I'm just trying to lessen the stress. You know what I mean? I don't want them to be funky. So I'm trying to lessen the stress. But they, two out of, two, two dogs out of our three dogs is already chipped. But it's not the right kind of chip, I don't think. So I'm going to have to get them all re-chipped with the correct chip. Um, and so that's that. You know what I mean? Um, I, and I, for me, I'm the type of person, like I said, I plan. I know I need 2 to 3 pallets. I've asked him to bring home the pallets. You think he has? No, because he thinks we've got all this time. No, we don't. We need this stuff, okay? I don't want to wait till the last minute. I really don't. But, I know people do things differently, but this is not like moving across town or moving from, like when I moved from New York to Texas. This is not that. And that in itself was freaking stressful as hell. Um, I want to, I like to plan. I like to have things together to, you know, plan for all sorts of scenarios. But, you know, it is what it is. So we'll see. My dog is just weird. Anyway, I'm sitting here lounging in bed because I'm like, I really don't want to get up. I had coffee this morning, which I needed. But now I probably do need to get up, clean a little bit, and, you know, just start getting ducks in a row. So we'll see. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Thanks for hanging in. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, so you can see this crazy journey that we are on. Thanks, guys. See you next time.